Who posts a third daily vlog about Portillo, Chile, nearly a year after the second daily vlog? Apparently, me. Daily vlogs are not my forte. Welcome to the third installment of my daily vlog from Portillo. Yesterday I tried to give you a sense of what the slopes are like, at least the ones that are open right now. So today, let's talk about the hotel, how expensive it is, what you get for your money. It won't be much action footage, you'll be stuck looking at me, so I'll try to put in other footage so you don't have to endure that. Portillo has one single hotel, Hotel Portillo. So let's talk about what's important to pretty much everybody, price. If you come during the high season and get the nicest room possible, it can cost you up to $1,000 a night. Dude, that's more for one night than an Icon Pass, bro. Yeah, that's right, $1,000 a night. This part of the vlog may stir up some strong opinions. You're not gonna get unanimity about the hotel. Some will say it's overpriced and you don't get the value for your money. Others will say it's fair for the ski and see out experience and everything else that they offer. I'm just trying to lay it all out for you and you can decide for yourself. If you come in the off season, it'll be a little bit less expensive, but it's still gonna be pretty expensive. But you're not getting what you get at a typical American hotel. This is an all-inclusive resort. You have breakfast, lunch, high tea, and dinner included, movies, yoga, social gatherings. But is that enough to justify the price? By the way, this isn't a sponsored video. I paid to come here, so I'm giving you my actual reflections on what it's like. There are two different types of packages you can book. Either a full week, Saturday to Saturday with 7 nights, or you can do a mini week, which is either Saturday to Wednesday or Wednesday to Saturday. And while Portillo has these packages, a week or a mini week, you can add on an extra day or two, so just call them up and you can work with them. If you book the full 7 days like I did, you get either a free night at the Ritz-Carlton in Santiago, or alternatively, they can organize a transfer to the airport for you, both coming and going. Because I found this out when I already booked everything, I didn't need the extra night in Santiago, so I went with a free transfer, and it made things very easy. If you rent your own car, you're going to have to also rent chains because it's required for the road that goes up to Portillo, which closes frequently. So the free transfer to me was a no-brainer. Check-in was interesting because a bunch of people were there at the same time. When you walked into the lobby, there was luggage strewn everywhere, but it actually worked out pretty well. It was organized, everybody at the front desk spoke English, pretty smooth despite what it looked like. And I was in my room at 11 a.m., which brings up a great point about what you get. 7 nights, 6 days would be the standard in the US, but you typically arrive in Santiago if you're coming from Europe or from North America early in the morning. So you get to the hotel and still have time to ski that day. You get a 7th day, and if you check out by a designated time on the last day, you can ski or board that day for free as well. So you can actually get 8 days of skiing or boarding and 7 nights. The issue I had to deal with though was that the first pickup was at 9 a.m. and my flight got in early at 5:50 a.m. So I just waited around for a while and it didn't really matter to me because I knew I was not having to deal with the hassle of potentially getting stranded on the road, getting a rental car and finding chains in the city. So it was much easier and I was happy to do that. One way that you can save some money is by choosing a non-lake view room or a room on a lower floor. I actually went with a lake view because I figured I may never come back, so I might as well spend the extra money. It wasn't that much more, maybe like $400 for the week. So when you break that down for 7 nights, it's not that much more to have a good view. And I'm glad I did because the alternative view, it turns out not to be anywhere close. But it's definitely tolerable if you want to save some money because ultimately, how often are you going to be looking out your window in your room? You're probably out taking advantage of the hot tub, at dinner, taking in a movie, doing whatever else you do at a resort. Another way to cut down the cost is to forego the hotel altogether and stay at the Octagon Lodge or the Inca Lodge, which are right next to the hotel. Your meals will still occur in the dining room at the hotel, but the cost is about half the price. The reviews online, however, are not that favorable. I don't think those lodges have been renovated as recently as the hotel, so you may want to look for pictures online to see what you're getting into. Another cost-saving idea I had was Airbnb. Unfortunately, there's nothing around this resort. The closest places are about an hour away. I did find a spot that was dirt cheap and would save you a ton of money, but the problem then is you're gonna have to drive about an hour each way every day just to come up here. And if there's a storm, the road will likely be closed and you can't get up. They often have periods when they close the road on the weekends. But it is something to think about if you want to come here and use all that money to extend your stay in Chile and go somewhere else to ski or board. The hotel was built in 1949, so there are some structural issues that you may be unhappy with based on the price of admission. First is thin walls. If people in the room next to you are loud, you may be able to hear them, and you can often hear people in the halls. Then there's the radiators. They make a knocking noise at random times, even during the night. So you may want earplugs to address both of those issues. Unrelated to the age of the building is the extra charge for beverages in the dining room, about $3 for a soda and $7 for a glass of wine. An important point for some about the rooms are that there are no TVs. If you're a TV fan, you're not going to have that here, but there are plenty of activities. They have a fitness center. There's a discotheque. They have social gatherings. There are movies. There's a bar. You can hang out in the hot tub and take in what is probably one of the best views from a hot tub in the world. I mean, I know there's some other great views with hot tubs, but this has got to be in the top 100, I'm sure, if not higher. All of that is included in the high price of admission. I haven't taken advantage of any of that because I've been trying to do these daily vlogs and I can't even get them done every night. So what if, like me, you don't speak Spanish? My French is pretty much useless here. I remember reading some reviews from years ago about the hotel restaurant and how none of the waiters spoke English and they were kind of rude. That has changed. Everyone at the front desk speaks English. I think the default for lift operators is Spanish, but some of them seem to know English as well. The hosts at the restaurant speaks English. A lot of the waiters do, not all of them, but with those who only speak Spanish, you can easily manage through. I've tried to learn some Spanish words. They know some English words. They're all very friendly, so it's very easy to navigate. Worst case scenario, they can just go get another waiter who does speak English. So the inability to speak Spanish should not be a reason not to come to Portillo. Or if you don't speak Spanish, you should still come to Portillo. Too many double, triple negatives. Restaurants. What's the food like? What's the service like? My experience has been great. 4 meals a day. Breakfast, lunch, high tea, and dinner. I haven't done the high tea, and it seems like most people don't. You have a menu every day for lunch and dinner, Spanish and English, with a selection of appetizer and entree. And the options are actually pretty impressive. Better than what I typically eat when I go out to restaurants at ski resorts. But if you're a foodie in pursuit of the best restaurants in New York, Paris, and Tokyo, you're probably not going to like it. It's good, but it's not at that level. But I find it to be absolutely delicious. Maybe it's because I'm skiing so much, but I find myself well fed and pleased with the food. But one thing that some people may not like, which I also read about in reviews from years ago, and apparently hasn't changed, wherever you sit the first day, that's where you stay for the rest of the trip. Because I knew that was the routine, it didn't bother me at all. Of course, some will say if you're paying all that money, you should be able to sit wherever you want, whenever you want. And there's some truth to that. But what I did notice is that when the mini week started on Wednesday, there was a little bit of shuffling, so you may be able to get away with an adjustment at some point. One problem with lunch is that it's pretty time consuming. If you're going to a formal dining room where they have a menu, they do a good job of getting you out pretty quickly, but it ends up taking me an hour to an hour and a half. And you've already paid for lunch, so you don't want to skip it. Normally when I'm skiing, I eat just a protein bar and then I'm off. Almost forgot about the ski and boot storage. It's very convenient. When you come back from skiing or boarding, you just drop your equipment off right there at the door, and then you're off on your own. I hesitate to make this comparison because I haven't taken a cruise since I was a little kid, and I know some people love cruises and hate them, but it kind of strikes me as what you would expect on a cruise. All inclusive, and they're there to try and make your stay great. For the time I've been here, they've done a good job.
Don't let go. Chasing a beach.